Hello and welcome to this edition of Dirt Talk with Drake York, and I have Alex Schutte on the show. It's good to have you.
Yeah, heck yeah, Drake. Appreciate you taking the time to interview me. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for letting us have the time to interview. You ran in today's K&N race at Sonoma. Unfortunately, first lap crash. We didn't even get down to turn one. So, what happened on the front straightaway?
You know, it was tough. Something happened up at the beginning, whether it was misshift or mechanical failure. One of the cars up front didn't go, and it kind of bottled up, and we were kind of the end result of that, and ultimately had nowhere to go, and had to, we ran into somebody and kind of tore the whole front end of the car off, and ended up in pit lane before the green.
Well, you got 2 laps down, I've heard, and came back through the field to 12th, and then you stopped in turn 3, I believe that it was.
Yes.
What happened there?
So we came into pit lane, we got the car changed, got it all kind of fixed up as best as you could, and then we went back out, and NASCAR told us that we had to come back in to fix the fender, so we came back in, fixed that. At that point we went 2 laps down, and started our charge from there. Got a lap back after our car blew up, had 1 lap to go, and kind of knifed our way through the field. We had a really good piece in our Klein Ford, and ultimately was able to get the lucky dog. The spotter was working really well with me and finding out which cars I needed to pass to stay as the first lead a lap down car, and got our last lap back and kind of started our charge from there.
Well, congrats on a good job, and
Appreciate it, yeah.
Good job today, even though you didn't get a chance to go for the win.
Yeah, no, it was definitely unfortunate, but I think we and the team showed the speed, closing up on the leaders, and ultimately being faster than the lead pack. Closing in on them. We just weren't able to show that when it counted on the lead lap.
Well, once again, good job. Now let's start from, not from today, but the beginning of your career. How were you introduced to racing?
So I was introduced to racing through my parents. My dad and my brother raced go-karts. My dad before that raced a lot of motorcycles, and then he got into go-karts, and then that kind of trickled down and gave me my opportunity and fell in love with the sport.
Where did you start your racing career?
So I started my racing career at Shasta Kart Club in Reading. Got started in Junior 1 go-karts on pavement.
How many types of cars have you driven?
That's a tough question, because there's a lot there, no doubt. Whether it's from go-karts to formula cars, stock cars, midgets and sprint cars, kind of been all over the map. Anything with 4 wheels on a steering wheel, I'm happy to be behind the wheel.
What was your favorite type of car you've driven, and why?
So my favorite type of car is definitely probably a midget on dirt. It's probably one of the more difficult things I had to transition to, and just had an affinity for driving the things. And it took a while, however, kind of figured it out to some degree, and that's by far my favorite. Most racing there is, closest racing, and you can really kind of let the driver shine, and the team for that matter, on dirt as it changes from lap 1 to 30. It's definitely my favorite.
What does it mean to share racing with your family?
I think racing is a family sport, and that's kind of what drives the entire equation behind drivers moving up, being a family aspect. You got your dad helping you, you're always with him, your mom's there supporting you, your siblings, so forth. So without them, I don't think it would be been as appealing. I think that's one of the true driving factors of falling in love with the sport.
We were talking about how you drive so many different cars in one season. What is it like driving that many cars in one season?
It's definitely tough. Beforehand you got to do your homework. You've got to be able to flip that switch to be close to how the car wants to be driven that lap. And you see it day in, day out with guys jumping from a midget to a sprint car, but going from pavement to dirt. The dirt guys definitely get on me a bit, telling me I need to drive it in a little bit more sideways on entry and so forth. So it has its side effects, but ultimately I think the dirt has definitely helped my pavement driving.
You were just talking about your pavement and dirt transition. What was that transition like? Was it difficult, or did you find it somewhat easy?
No, I truly think it was very difficult going from pavement to dirt. Having never driven anything on dirt, knowing how to read the racetrack, how the car wanted to be driven. It took a long learning curve, and really a lot of patience and determination. It didn't quit early. Well, obviously wasn't very good initially. However, with the support again of a family and people behind you, just kept at it, and now ultimately able to win some dirt races.
Talking about the pavement and dirt transition, which one do you enjoy more, pavement or dirt?
I think it depends. However, dirt racing still has a soft spot in my heart. It's my favorite, and if you could get paid the same amount to do anything, dirt racing would be it for me. By far my favorite.
You were a racing instructor here at Sonoma Raceway. What was that experience like?
It was great. I worked around a world-class crew for about 5 years, working with the Audi sports car experience and some R8s, some of the supercars, a lot of their S model lines, F3 cars. So they have the fastest formula cars that you can get in North America, as well as teaching people in their own cars. So, being able to drive all these different, cars, that eclectic blend, just being behind the wheel in anything, I think helps you out, and absolutely loved it. And I think it does help you being behind the wheel as much as possible.
Do you think that being a driving instructor here kind of helped you carry it over to the NASCAR K&N series?
Yeah, no, I truly do. Knowing this racetrack, how it transitions from the morning to the afternoon when it gets kind of hot, a little bit of greasy, knowing the places to pass, knowing where to set people up, where to be patient, and ultimately when to keep the tires underneath you, I really think paid dividends. And I think we showed that speed today, being able to run the lead pack down and pass cars all the time, getting into turn 11, being able to outbrake people, and that patience. So definitely an advantage.
What is your day job?
So day job, oftentimes is out here at this racetrack, Sonoma Raceway, driving, you name it, different kinds of cars. And I also recently started working for the sponsors. Lucky enough to have people behind me and helping them out as well. So it's kind of a two-party system.
Where do you think your career is going between NASCAR and dirt?
So we're still keeping the dirt side operational and racing that as much as possible. I think that has the best experience that you can get, and molds drivers the best way, whether it's from racecraft or just sheer driving the car. However, we're pushing forward with the NASCAR K&N stuff. We'd like to see some ARCA starts and probably a truck start here or there.
Oh, well, we've got to be looking forward to that in the future. You were talking about your family midget. You've had some recent success. How has your season been going on the dirt side of things?
It's been really good. I'm lucky to have quality people behind me, my dad being one of them. Can figure out a lot of things, and we've kind of figured the ailments out of the car. A lot of hard-working guys behind us that we've hit a really good baseline setup, and we've won the last 4 out of 6 races in the USAC and BCRA stuff. So we truly been enjoying that, and looking forward to the next couple USAC races. A really stiff competition. One year you made the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals a main event. Only all the best drivers make it. Some of the best in the world miss it. What was that like, racing with the best in the world and being in the biggest midget race of the season? It's a pretty incredible feeling. By all means, that's kind of the main goal, is to make the A-main. That's your ultimate goal. And once you make it there, it's like, all right, I've made it. It can't get any better from here. However, once it did happen, my dad, he came over and said the same thing, like, all right, we've done it. And I'm like, all right, you need to calm down. Like, we've got work to do. We want a top 10 finish, and we came super close to that. But by far, one of my highlights of my career, and absolutely look forward to going back to Tulsa every single year.
I know Corey Kuzman helped you in the early part of your dirt career. How much has he helped you with your dirt driving?
I think it's a bunch at the beginning. Shortening that learning curve. If you just went out there without any kind of support or tutelage, you have no idea necessarily what you're doing, and he was able to shorten that. And I say that coming from pavement to dirt, having no dirt experience, he was able to shorten that quite a bit. A lot of off-track discussions and so forth that definitely helped a lot.
What are your future plans for the rest of this year, next year, and maybe a couple more years down the road?
So for this year, we're looking to compete in the midget. It's like BCRA races, as many USAC races we can hit. Those are kind of the primary goal in our own car. And one of the car owners that let me drive his Chili Bowl car that we made the A-main in, he was here this weekend, and we're talking about building a purpose-built car for Chili Bowl. And our ultimate goal is to be back in that A-main on Saturday night, having at it with the best of the best. On the K&N side and NASCAR side, we're looking to take this car, and we're going to Watkins Glen next month, so we should be there early August. Really looking forward to that. Building off the pace that we have here and applying it to there, having a shot at the win. And then overall, looking to get some of those ARCA starts and some bigger 1.5 mile tracks and truck races.
Well, that's going to wrap up our show today. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you. Appreciate you taking the time.
Today's show has been presented by Shannon Dietz, Bill McAnally, Napa Auto Care, Chad Trucking, and Roberto Marquez, Attorney at Law.